Hi, so welcome to my fifth video on Ansible. In this video I'm going to talk about handlers and how handlers work and what you can use them for. So you might imagine that sometimes you run some things that you want to trigger other things, but only in certain circumstances. So for example, when Apache configs change, you want to restart Apache, but if they don't change, you don't want to restart Apache. So that's what the handlers are for. So between this video and the last, I made a new file, the uninstall, and so that just uninstalls Apache. It just removes the package, doesn't do much. So I'm going to run that just to prove a point, just to prove that this thing only runs when the Apache package gets installed, and it doesn't run when it doesn't get installed. So I'm going to run that real quick. Ansible playbook uninstall. It's going to take a few moments. So Apache is uninstalled on my server. Now I'm going to edit the install.yaml. So first, let's just get rid of this task down here, the output index file var contents. That's not particularly useful in this video. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take this task, this replace index.yaml, and I'm going to make it a handler. So it only runs when the Apache package gets installed for the first time. And the way that we do that is actually pretty simple. You just add a handlers item here and you add it under that. So we have, so this is how that works. And then what you do is for the task that you want to trigger it, you add a notify, and then the name. So name, or not name, replace index.html. So what's going to happen is the first time that we install Apache, it's going to say, okay, this task changed something, and so it's going to notify the handler, and it's the handler with this name, which we go down here and we look and we see, okay, that does this. And in order to prove that, I can sh to Jadur as root, cat, the file. So currently it says, hi, this will be changed. And so now if I run the play, it's going to install Apache. Of course, this takes a few moments because it's downloading packages and installing it. Okay, cool. And you'll see that it says it ran the handler, and it tells us the name so we know which handler it ran. And now if we curl Jadur, we see the content that the handler put there. And in order to prove that it doesn't run after Ansible has already been, or after Apache has already been installed, we can change it. HTML index, and I'm going to just change this to hi, this won't be changed. Now if we run it again, we see it didn't change anything. The install Apache didn't change anything because the package is already installed. And then it didn't run the handler because it didn't change anything. And so now if we curl Jadur, we see, oh, hi, this won't be changed. So this is particularly useful, for example, in the case that I mentioned about the Apache config file, and you can probably imagine many other cases where it would be useful. For example, you run a dist upgrade on your Ubuntu machine, and you want to reboot it if that upgrades things that require reboot, or it doesn't, or if it doesn't, then you don't want to reboot it. There are many use cases for it, and it's extremely useful. It also makes your handlers reusable, so you can have multiple things notify the same thing. So you could have a config file change restart Apache, or you could have a package update restart Apache. All sorts of great things like that. So join me in the next video. Thanks.